Who will read Mangalacharan prayers? Arun Prabhu, can you read?
Hello.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Dandat Pranam, Jai Shri Prabhupada. Okay, who wants to read?
Jai Shri Prabhupada ki jai.
Hare Krishna, I read.
Hare Krishna. Okay, Prabhu.
तिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखावतांश्च हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्त राधा कान्त नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुव एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। नमामि विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी वाश्यादिदेशतारिणे। श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय।
Jai, thank you so much, Prabhu. Okay, so today we start a new chapter. The chapter is chapter 9, the most confidential knowledge. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha idam tu te guhyatamam pravakshyam anusuyave jnanam vijnana sahitam yajnanatva mukshase subhat. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha, the Supreme Personality of Godhead said, idam, this, tu, but, te, unto you, guhyetamam, most confidential, pravakshyami, I am speaking, anashuyave, to the non-envious, jnanam, knowledge, vijnana, realized knowledge, sahitam, with, yat, which, jnanatva, knowing, mokshyase, be released, ashubhat, from this miserable material existence. Translation. The Supreme Lord said, my dear Arjuna, because you are never envious of me, I shall impart to you this most secret wisdom, knowing which you shall be relieved of the miseries of material existence. Purport. As a devotee hears more and more about the Supreme Lord, he becomes enlightened. This hearing process is recommended in the Srimad Bhagavatam. The message of the Supreme Person of Godhead are full of potencies, and these potencies can be realized if topics regarding the Supreme Godhead are discussed amongst devotees. This cannot be achieved by the association of mental speculators or academic scholars, for it is realized knowledge. The devotees are constantly engaged in the Supreme Lord's service. The Lord understands the mentality and sincerity of a particular living entity who is engaged in Krishna consciousness and gives him the intelligence to understand the science of Krishna in the association of devotees. Discussions of Krishna is very potent, and if a fortunate person has such association and tries to assimilate the knowledge, then he will surely make advancement towards spiritual realization. Lord Krishna, in order to encourage Arjuna to higher and higher elevation in his potent service, describes in this 9th chapter matters more confidential than any he has already disclosed. In the very beginning of Bhagavad Gita, the first chapter is more or less an introduction to the rest of the book, And in the second and third chapters, the spiritual knowledge described is called confidential. Topics discussed in the seventh and eighth chapters are specifically related to devotional service, and because they bring enlightenment in Krishna consciousness, they are called more confidential. But the matters which are described in the ninth chapter deal with unallied pure devotion. Therefore, this is called the most confidential. One who is situated in the most confidential knowledge of Krishna is naturally transcendental. He therefore has no material pangs, although he is in the material world. In the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, it is said that although one who has a sincere desire to render loving service to the Supreme Lord is situated in the conditional state of material existence, he is to be considered liberated. Similarly, we shall find in the Bhagavad Gita 10th chapter that anyone who is engaged in that way is a liberated person. Now, this verse has specific significance. Knowledge, idam jnanam, refers to pure devotional service, which consists of 9 different activities: hearing, chanting, remembering, serving, worshipping, praying, obeying, maintaining, friendship, and surrendering everything. By the practice of these 9 elements of devotional service, one is elevated to the spiritual consciousness, Krishna consciousness. At that time, when one's heart is cleared of the material contamination, one can understand the science of Krishna. Simply to understand that the living entity is not material is not sufficient. That may be the beginning of spiritual realization, but one should recognize the difference between activities of the body and spiritual activities by which one understands that he is not the body. In the 7th chapter, we have already discussed the opulent potency of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, his different energies, the inferior and superior natures, and all its material manifestation. Now in chapters 9 and 10, the glories of the Lord will be delineated. Delineated. First time seeing this word. The Sanskrit words anasuyave in this verse is also very significant. Generally, the commentators, even if they are highly scholarly, are all envious of Krishna, the Supreme Person of Godhead. Even the most erudite scholars write on Bhagavad Gita very inaccurately because they are envious of Krishna. Their commentaries are useless. The commentaries given by devotees of the Lord are bona fide. No one can explain Bhagavad Gita or give perfect knowledge of Krishna if he is envious. One who criticizes the character of Krishna without knowing him is a fool. Such commentary should be very carefully avoided. For one who understands that Krishna is the Supreme Person of Godhead, the pure and transcendental personality, these chapters will be very beneficial. Hare Krishna. Okay, who wants the next one?
Hare
Hare
Krishna
Krishna.
Prabhu.
Okay, Vivek Prabhu, you read.
Okay, Prabhu, you can read, Prabhu, you can read now.
You read, Prabhu, read.
Okay, thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna Prabhu, please accept my obeisance, Srila Prabhupada. Rajavidya Rajaguhyam Pavitram Idam Uttamam Pratyaksvagamam Dharmayam Susukham Kartum Avyayam. Rajavidya, the king of education. Rajaguhyam, the king of confidential knowledge. Pavitram, the purest. Idam, this. Uttamam, transcendental. Pratyaksa, directly experienced. Avagamam, understood. Dharmayam, the principle of religion. Susukam, very happy. Kartum, to execute. Avyayam, everlasting. Translation: this knowledge is the king of education, the most secret of all secrets. It is the purest knowledge, and because it gives direct precipitation of the self by realization. It is the perfection of religion. It is everlasting, and it is joyfully performed. Purport. This chapter of Bhagavad Gita is called the King of Education because it is the essence of all doctrines and philosophies explained before. There are seven principal philosophers in India: Gut- Gutama, Gautama, Kanda, Kapila, Yajnavalkya, Sandhilaya, Vaishvanara, and finally Vyasadeva, the author of the Vedanta Sutra. So there is no breadth of knowledge in the field of philosophy or transcendental knowledge. Now the Lord says that these 9 chapters is the king of all such knowledge, the essence of all knowledge. Essence of where bro? Okay. Uh, essence of all knowledge that can be derived from the study of the Vedas and different kinds of philosophy. It is the most confidential because confidential or transcendental knowledge involves understanding the difference between the soul and the body. And the king of all confidential knowledge culminates in devotional service. Generally, people are not educated in this confidential knowledge. They are educated in external knowledge. As far as ordinary education is concerned, with people people are involved with where Prabhu? Sorry. People are involved with so many departments: politics, sociology, physics, chemistry, mathematics, astronomy, engineering, etc. There are so many departments of knowledge all over the world, and many huge universities, but there is unfortunately no university or educational institution where the science of the spirit soul is instructed. Yet the soul is the most important part of this body. Without the presence of the soul, the body has no value. Still, people are placing great stress on the bodily necessities of life, not caring for the vital soul. The Bhagavad Gita, especially from the second chapter on, stresses the importance of the soul. In the very beginning, the Lord says that this body is permissible, and the soul is not permissible. That is a confidential part of knowledge. Simply knowing that spirit soul is different from this body, and that that its nature is immutable, indestructible, and eternal, but that gives no positive information but about the soul. Sometimes people are under the impression and that the soul is different from the body, and that when the body is finished or one is liberated from the body, the soul remains in the void and becomes impersonal. But actually that is not the fact. How can the soul, which is so active within this body, be inactive after being liberated from the body? It is always active. If it is eternal, then it is eternally active, and its activity in the spiritual kingdom are the most confidential part of spiritual knowledge. These activities of the spirit soul are therefore indicated here as constituting the king of all knowledge, the most confidential part of all knowledge. This knowledge is the purest form of all activities, as is explained in Vedic literature. In the Padma Purana, man's sinful activities have been analyzed and are shown to be the results of sin after sin. Those who are engaged in fruitive activities are entangled in different stages and forms of sinful reactions. For instance, when the seed of a particular tree is sown, the tree does not appear immediately to grow. It takes some time. It is first a small sprouting plant. Then it assumes the form of a tree. Then it flowers, bears fruit, and when it is complete, the flowers and fruits are enjoyed by persons who have sown the seed of the tree. Similarly, a man performs a sinful act, and like a seed, it takes time to fruit, fruit, fruitify fruitify fruit, 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 fruitify. Okay, there are different stages. The sinful action may have already stopped within the individual, but the results are the fruit of that sinful actions are still enjoyed. There are sins which are still in the form of seed, and there are others which are already fructified, fructified and are giving us fruit which we are enjoying as distress and pain, as explained in the 20th verse of the 17th chapter. A person who has completely ended the reactions of all sinful activities and who is fully engaged in pious activities, being freed from the duality of this material world, becomes engaged in devotional service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. In other words, those who are actually engaged in the devotional service of the Supreme Lord are already freed from all reactions. For those who are engaged in devotional service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, all sinful reactions, whether fruitified in the stalk or in the form of a seed, gradually vanish. Therefore, the purifying potency of devotional service is very strong, and it is called Pavitram Uttamam, the purest. Uttamam means transcendental. Tamas means this material world or darkness, and Uttamam means that which is transcendental to material activities. Devotional service, devotional service, uh, sorry, de- which is transcendental to material activities. Devotional activities are never to be considered material, although sometimes it appears that devotees are engaged just like ordinary men. One who can see and is familiar with devotional service, however, will know that they are not material activities. They are all spiritual and devotional, uh, devotional, uncontaminated by the material modes of nature. It is said that the execution of devotional service is so perfect that one can perceive the results directly. This direct result is actually perceived, and we have practical experience that any person who is chanting the holy name of Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, in course of time feels some transcendental pleasure and very quickly becomes purified of all material contamination. This is actually seen. Furthermore, if one engages not only in hearing but in trying to broadcast the message of devotions activities as well, or if he engages himself in helping the missionary activities of Krishna consciousness, he gradually feels spiritual progress. This advancement in spiritual life does not depend on any kind of previous education or qualification. The method itself is so pure that by simply engaging in it, one becomes pure. In the Vedanta Sutra, this is also described in the following words: Praksasacha karmane Abhyasat. Abhyasat. Devotional service is so potent that simply by engaging in the activities of devotional service, one becomes entangled without a doubt. Narada, who happened to be the son of a my servant, maid servant. Okay. Narada, who happened to be the son of and had no education, nor was he born into a high family. But when his mother was engaged in serving great devotees, Narada also became engaged, and sometimes in the absence of his mother, he would serve the great devotees himself. Narada personally says, once only by their permission I took the remnants of their food, and by so doing, all my sins were at once eradicated. Those being engaged, one become purified in heart, and at that time, the very nature of the transcendentalist become attractive to me. Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam 1.5.25. Narada tells his disciple Vyasadeva that in a previous life he was engaged as a boy servant of uh, purified devotees during 4 months of their stay, and that he was intimately associating with them. Sometimes those sages left remnants of food on their sheds, sheds, sh- sh- dishes, or sorry, of the food on their dishes, and the boy who would wash their dishes wanted to taste the remnants, so he asked the great devotees whether he could eat them, and they gave their permission. Narada uh, then ate those remnants and consequently become freed from all sinful reactions. As he went on eating, he gradually became as pure-hearted as the sages, and he gradually developed the same taste. The great devotees re- released, released, released the taste of unceasing devotional service of the Lord, hearing, chanting, etc. By developing the same taste, Narada wanted also to hear and chant the holy glories of the Lord. Thus, by associating with the sages, he developed a great desire for devotional service. Therefore, he quotes from the Vedanta Sutra, Praksasa cha karmani abhya- abhyasate. Abhyasat. If one is engaged simply in the acts of devotional service, everything is revealed to him automatically, and he can understand. This is called praksasa, directly perceived. Narada was actually a son of servant. He had no opportunity to go to school. He was simply assisting his mother, and fortunately his mother rendered some service to the devotees. The child Narada also got the opportunity, and simply by association achieved the highest goal of all religious devotional service. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, it is said that religious people generally do not know that the highest perfection of religion is the attainment of the stage of devotion service. Generally, Vedic knowledge is required for the understanding of path of self-realization. But here, although he was not educated in the Vedic principle, Narada acquired the highest results of Vedic study. This process is so potent that even without performing the religious process regularly, one can be raised to the highest perfection. How is this possible? This is also confirmed in Vedic literature. Acharyavana Puruso Veda, one who is in the association with great acharyas, even if he is not educated or has not studied the Vedas can become familiar with all the knowledge necessary for realization. The process of devotion service is very happy one. Why? Devotion service consists of Sarvanam Kirtanam Vishnu. So one can simply hear the chanting of the glories of the Lord, or can attain philosophical literatures on transcendental knowledge given by authorized acharyas. Simply by sitting, one can learn. Then one can eat the remnants of food offered to God. Nice, palatable dishes. In every state, devotion service is joyful. One can execute devotional service even in the most poverty-stricken condition. The Lord says, "Patram pushpam phalam." He is ready to accept from the devotee any kind of offering, never mind what, even a leaf, a flower, a bit of fruit, or a little water, which are all available in every part of the world. Can be offered by any person, regardless of social position, and will be accepted if offered with love. There are many instances in history. Simply by tasting the tulsi leaves offered to the lotus feet of the Lord, great sages like Sanat Kumara become great devotee. Therefore, the devotional process is very nice and it can be executed in a happy mode. God accepts only the love with which things are offered to Him. It is said here that this devotional service is eternally existing. It is not as the Mayavadi philosophers claim. They sometimes take to so-called devotional service, and as long as they are not liberated, they continue their devotional service. But at the end, when they become liberated, they become one with God. Such temporary time serving devotion service is not accepted as pure devotion service. Actual devotion service continues even after liberation. When the devotee goes to the spiritual planet in the kingdom of God, he is also engaged there in serving the Supreme Lord. He does not try to become one with the Supreme Lord. As it at sorry, as it will be seen, actual devotion service begins after liberation. So in the Bhagavad Gita, it is said, Brahma Bhuta, after being liberated or being situated in the Brahman position, once devotion service begins. By executing devotion service, one can understand the Supreme Lord. No, one can understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead by executing Karma Yoga, Jnana, or Astanga Yoga, or any other yoga independently. Without coming to the stage of devotion service, one cannot understand what is the personality of Godhead. In the Srimad Bhagavatam or Bhagavad Gita from realized souls, he can understand the signs of Krishna or the signs of God. Evam prasanan manaso bhagavad bhakti yogatha. When one's heart is cleared of all nonsense, then one can understand what God is. Thus, the process of devotion service of Krishna consciousness. He is the king of all knowledge and the king of all confidential knowledge. It is the purest form of religion, and it can be executed joyfully without difficulty. Therefore, one should adopt it. Haribol. Thank you, bro. Who wants to
Thank
continue?
you so much, Prabhu. Okay, who
Thank
wants
you
the
so much.
next one?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, yes, Prabhu.
अश्रद्धाधा नः पुरुषा धर्मस्य परन्तप aprapaya ma nirvantante mrityu samsaravartmani ashuradhatha naha. Those who are faithless. Purusha, such a person. Dharmasya, of this process of religion. Asya, of it. Parantapa, O killer of the enemies. Aprapya, without obtaining. Mam, me. Nir nivartante, come back. Mrityu, death. Samsara, material existence. Vatmani, on the path of translation. Those who are not faithful on the path of devotional service cannot attain me. O conqueror of foe, but return to birth and death in this material world. Purport. The faithless cannot accomplish this process of devotional service. That is the purport of this verse. Faith is created by association with devotees. Unfortunate people, even after hearing all the evidence of Vedic literature from great personalities, still have no faith in God. They are hesitant and cannot stay fixed in the devotional service of the Lord. Thus, faith is a most important factor for progress in Krishna consciousness. In the Chaitanya Charitamrita, it is said that one should have complete conviction that simply by serving the Supreme Lord, Sri Krishna, he can achieve all perfection. That is called real faith. In the Bhagavad Bhagavatam, it is stated that by giving water to the root of a tree, its branches, twig, and leaves become satisfied. By supplying food to stomach, all the senses of the body become satisfied. And similarly, by engaging in the transcendental service of the Supreme Lord, all the demigods and all the living entities automatically become satisfied. After reading Bhagavad Gita, one should promptly come to the conclusion of Bhagavad Gita, one should give up all other engagements and adopt the service of the Supreme Lord, Krishna's Supreme Personality of Godhead. If one is convinced this philosophy of life, that is faith. Now, the development of the faith is the process of Krishna consciousness. There are three divisions of Krishna conscious man. In the third class are those who have no faith if they are engaged in devotional service officially for some ulterior purpose, they cannot achieve the highest perfectional stage. Most probably, they will sleep after some time. They may become engaged, but because they have not complete conviction and faith, it is very difficult for them to continue to Krishna consciousnness. We have practical experience in discharging our missionary activity that some people come and apply themselves to the Krishna consciousness with some hidden motive, and as though they are no, economically a little well situated, they give up this process and take to their old ways again. It is only by faith that one can advance in Krishna consciousness. As far as the development of faith is and has attained the stage of firm faith is called a first class person in Krishna consciousness, and in the second class are those who are not very advanced in understanding devotional scriptures but who are automatically have faith, firm faith in that Krishna bhakti or service to Krishna is the best course, and so in good faith have taken it up. Those they are superior to the third class who have neither perfect knowledge of the scriptures nor good faith, but by association and simplicity are trying to follow the third class person in Krishna consciousness may fall down. But when one is in the second class or first class, he does not fall down.
See,
One in the first and
this point as this we go out many times to in Ritvik debate. So it's from this point.
yes, yes, bro. Yes. One in the first class will surely make progress and achieve the result at the end. As far as the third class person in Krishna consciousness is concerned, although he has faith in the conviction of that devotional service to Krishna is very good, he has no knowledge of Krishna through the scriptures like Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita. Sometimes these third class person in Krishna consciousness have some tendency towards Karma Yoga and Jnana Yoga, and sometimes they are disturbed. But as soon as the infection of Karma Yoga and Jnana Yoga is vanquished, they become second class or first class person in Krishna consciousness. Faith in Krishna is also divided into three stages and described in Srimad Bhagavatam. First class attachment, second class attachment, third class attachment are also explained in Srimad Bhagavatam in the 11th canto. Those who have no faith, even after hearing about Krishna and the excellence of devotional service, who think that is simply eulogy, find the path very difficult, even if they are supposedly engaged in devotional service. For them, there is a very little hope in gaining perfection. Thus, faith is very important in the discharge of devotional service. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. Okay, who wants to read next one? It's shorter.
Right, Prabhu. I think.
Yes, Prabhu.
Is there any devotees who wants to do? You can continue, but if not, I can continue.
Nero Prabhu, Dimitri Prabhu, Divantri, Dilip Prabhu also, and Sujay Prabhu.
I can read this short one.
Okay, Haribo. Thank you, Prabhu.
Right, well, thank you, Prabhu. Maya tatam idam sarvam jagat avyaktam murtina matstani sarvabhutani nachaham tesvavastitaha. Maya, by me, tatam spread idam, all these manifestations, sarvam, all, Krishna. Jagat, cosmic manifestation, avyakta murtina, unmanifested form, matstani, unto me, sarva bhutani, all living entities, na, not, cha, also, aham, I, teshu, in them, avastita, situated. Translation, by me, in my unmanifested form, this entire universe is pervaded. All beings are in me, but I am not in them. Purport. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is not perceivable through the gross material senses. It is said that Lord Sri Krishna's name, fame, pastimes, etc., cannot be understood by material senses. Only to one who is engaged in pure devotional service under proper guidance is he revealed. In the Brahma Samhita it is stated, Prema Jnana Churita. One can see the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Govinda, always within himself and outside himself, if he has developed the transcendental loving attitude towards him. Thus, for people in general, he is not visible. Here it is said that although he is all pervading, everywhere present, he is yet not conceivable by the material senses, but actually, although we cannot see him, everything is resting in him. As we have discussed in the 7th chapter, the entire material cosmic manifestation is only a combination of these two different energies, superior spiritual energy and the inferior material energy. Just as the sunshine is spread all over the universe, the energy of the Lord is spread all over the creation, and everything is resting in that energy. Yet one should not conclude that because he is spread all over, he has lost his personal existence. To refute such argument, the Lord says, I am everywhere and everything is in me, but still I am aloof. For example, a king heads a government which is but the manifestation of the king's energy. The different governmental departments are nothing but the energies of the king, and each department is resting on the king's power. but still one cannot expect the king to be present in every department personally. That is a crude example. Similarly, all the manifestations that we see and everything that exists, both in this material world and in the spiritual world, are resting on the energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The creation takes place by the diffusion of his different energies, and as is stated in the Bhagavad Gita, he is everywhere present by his personal representation, the diffusion of his different energies.
Haribol. Thank you so much, Prabhu.
Haribol.
Thank you.
This is stated in Haribol. I can read one more. न च मत्स्थानि भूतानि पश्यामे योगमैश्वरं भूताभृह्न च भूतोऽस्तो ममात्मा भूतभावनः. Na, never. Cha, also. Matstani, situated in me. Bhutani, all creation. Pashya, just see. Me, my. Yogam, Aishvaryam, inconceivable mystic power. Bhutabhrit, maintainer of all living entities. Na, never. Cha, also. Bhutasta, in the cosmic manifestation. Mama, my. Atma, self. Bhuta Bhavanaha, is the source of all manifestations. Translation. And yet everything that is created does not rest in me. Behold my mystic opulence. Although I am the maintainer of all living entities, and although I am everywhere, still myself is the very source of creation. Purport. The Lord says that everything is resting on Him. This should not be misunderstood. The Lord is not directly concerned with the maintenance and sustenance of this material manifestation. Sometimes we see a picture of Atlas holding the globe on his shoulders. He seems to be very tired, holding the great earthly planet. Let's see what it looks like. Oh, Krishna. Oh, it's this one. So is this Krishna? Does it look like Krishna? He seems to be very tired, holding this great earthly planet. Such an image should not be entertained in connection with Krishna's upholding this created universe. He says that although everything is resting on him, still he is aloof. The planetary systems are floating in space, and the space is the energy of the Supreme Lord. But he is different from space. He is differently situated. Therefore, the Lord says, although they are situated on my inconceivable energy, still as the Supreme Person of Godhead, I am aloof from them. This is the inconceivable opulence of the Lord. In the Vedic dictionary, it is said, the Supreme Lord is performing inconceivably wonderful pastimes, displaying his energies. His person is full of different potent energies, and his determination is itself actual fact. In this way, the person of Godhead is to be understood. What is Vedic dictionary? We may think to do something, but there are so many impediments, and sometimes it is not possible to do as we like. But when Krishna wants to do something, simply by his willing, everything is performed so perfectly that one cannot imagine how it is being done. The Lord explains this fact. Although he is the maintainer and sustainer of all material manifestation, he does not touch this material manifestation. Simply by his power, his supreme will, everything is created. Everything is sustained, everything is maintained, and everything is annihilated. There is no difference between his mind and himself. As there is a difference between ourselves and our present material mind. So when they say that people say that, no, I am the mind, they are also trying to imitate Krishna, because Krishna is the mind. There is no difference. Simultaneously.
Yes, Prabhu.
Yes, bro.
Simultaneously, the Lord is present in everything, yet the common man cannot understand how he is also present personally. He is different from this material manifestation, yet everything is resting on him. This is explained here as Yoga Maishwaram, the mystic power of the Supreme Person of Godhead. Okay, who wants to read one more?
My bro,
Hare Krishna.
I think Dimitri Prabhu wants to read. You want?
Dimitri Prabhu, can you read?
I continue, bro.
Yes, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Ekta ektakasa stito nityam vyuha sarvatra go mahan तथा सर्वाणि भूतानि मत्सन्निधि ते upadrayah yata as much as akshasa stitha situated in space nityam always vyuha wind sarvatra gaha blowing everywhere Mohan great Tatha similarly Sarvani everything Bhutani created beings Matsatani situated in me Iti those Upadraya try to understand translation as the mighty wind blowing everywhere always rests in eternal it real space knowing that in the same manner all beings rest in me purport for the ordinary person it is almost inconceivable how the huge material creation is resting in him but the Lord is giving an example which may help us to understand space in the biggest manifestation we can convince you the most cosmic sorry the cosmic manifestation rests in space permits the moment of even the atoms and on up to the greatest planets the sun and the moon although the sky or wind or air is great still it is situated within space. Space is not behind the sky. Similarly, all the wonderful cosmic manifestations are existing by the supreme will of God, and all of them are subordinate to the supreme will. As we generally say, not a blade of grass moves without the will of the supreme personality of Godhead. Thus everything is moving under his will. By his will, everything is being created, everything is being maintained, and everything is being annihilated. Still, he is aloof from everything. He is aloof from everything. Has space. He is always aloof from the activities of the atmospheric. In the Upanishads, it is stated it is out of the fear of the Supreme Lord that the wind is blowing. In the Garga Upanishads, also it is stated by the Supreme Order under the superintendence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The moon, the sun, and the great planets are moving. In the Brahma Samhita, this is also stated. There is also a description of the moment of the sun, and it is said that the sun is considered to be one of the eyes of the Supreme Lord, and that it has immense potency to diffuse heat and light. Still, it is moving in its prescribed orbit by the order of the supreme will of Govinda. So from the Vedic literature we can find evidence that this material manifestation which appears to us to very with us to be very wonderful and great, it is under the complete control of the Supreme Lord of God head. This will be further explained in the later verses of this chapter. Haribol.
Ibo, thank you so much, Prabhu.
Jai Shri. Thank you so much, Prabhu. Jai Shri Prabhu.
Okay, now let's read six Astakam prayers. Cheto darpanamarjanam bhavamahadavagninirvapanam shreyah kairava chandrika vitaranam vidyavadu jivanam anandam buddhivardhanam pratipadam purnamritasvadanam sarvatma snapanam param vijayate Sri Krishna Sankirtanam.
Nam namakari bhutha nija sarva shakti statrarpita niyamitak smaranena kalaha etadrishi tava kripa bhagavan mamapi durdaiva midrishamiha janinanuraga.
ऋणादपि सुनिचेन तरोरपि सहिष्णुना अमानेन मानदेन कीर्तनया सदा हरि
नतनं न जनं न सुन्दरीं कवितां वा जगदीश कामये मम जन्मनि जन्मनीश्वरे भवतात् भक्तिरहैतुकी त्वयि.
अयेनन्दन तनुज किङ्करं पतितं मां विस्मे भवम्बुधौ कृपया तव पादपङ्कजा स्थितधूलिसदृशं विचिन्तय
नयनं गलदश्रुधारया वदनं गद्गदा हृदया गिरा पुलकैर्निचितं वपु कदा तव नाम गृहणे भविष्यति.
Yugaitam nimeshena chakshusha pravrishayitam shunyaitam jagat sarvam govinda virahena me.
अष्टिश्लया अश्लिष्या वा पदार्थं पिनष्टु माम् अदर्शनान्मरं हतं करोतु वा यथा तथा वा विदधातु लम्पटो मत्प्राणनाथातु स एव नप्रः.
Haribo, glory to the Sri Krishna Sankirtan, which cleanses the heart of all the dust accumulated for years and extinguishes the fire of conditional life of repeated birth and death. The Sankirtan movement is the prime benediction for humanity at large because it spreads the rays of the benediction moon. It is the life of all transcendental knowledge. It increases the ocean of transcendental bliss and it enables us to fully taste the nectar for which we are always anxious.
O my Lord, your holy name alone can render all benediction to living beings, and thus you have hundreds and millions of names like Krishna and Govinda. In these transcendental names, you have invested all your transcendental energies. There are not even hard and fast rules for chanting these names. O my Lord, out of kindness you enable us to easily approach you by your holy names, but I am so unfortunate that I have no attraction for them.
One should chant the holy name of the Lord in a humble state of mind, thinking oneself lower than the straw in the street. One should be more tolerant than a tree, devoid of all senses of false prestige, and should be ready to offer all respect to others. In such a state of mind, one can chant the holy name of the Lord constantly.
O Almighty Lord, I have no desire to accumulate wealth, nor do I desire beautiful women, nor do I want any number of followers. I only want your causeless devotional service, birth after birth.
O son of Maharaj Nanda Krishna, I am your eternal servitor, yet somehow or other I have fallen into the ocean of birth and death. Please pick me up from this ocean of death and place me as one of the atoms at your lotus feet.
O my Lord, when will my eyes be decorated with tears of love, flowing constantly when I chant your holy name? When will my voice choke up and When will the hairs of my body stand on end at the recitation of your name?
O Govinda, feeling your separations, I'm considering a moment to be like 12 years or more. Tears are flowing from eyes like torrents of rain, and I'm feeling all vacant in the world in your absence.
I know no one but Krishna as my Lord, and he shall remain so even if he handles me roughly by his embrace or makes me broken hearted by not being present before me. He is completely free to do anything and everything, for he is always my worshipful Lord unconditionally.
Ribo, Sri Siksastakam ki jai. Okay, now we will read also. Now we will start the read
What?
after Siksastakam about these 10 offenses to chanting, because maybe not everyone read them in morning, and this needs to be read daily. So now we will read it always.
Yeah, I also don't read it.
But what is this?
Is there a Sanskrit?
There was actually some shloka or something that used to be chanted before this. Nimanita Prabhu explained it in the.
You mean yesterday?
Yeah, he explained it that is chanted before we read these 10.
Yeah.
It was something related that some asking forgiveness for. It was
Yes, for committing mistakes.
is it somewhere.
Yeah, but it's from, I don't remember where it is from.
Oh, here's one letter. Prabhupada has written this.
Because, no,
Yeah,
no,
need to
I
hard
I don't think we will be able to find this in Srila Prabhupada's books because it is a specific mantra
Yeah.
which is chanted for deity worship, I believe,
Yes, Prabhu.
probably. Or maybe it's a part of, what is this? Gayatri mantra, and I don't know.
Do these have some Sanskrit or it's from Padma Purana?
You can just you can go to Adi 824 and go to the purport. I believe it has all the Sanskrit, almost all. You see?
Is there everything? One.
Almost. You can try to find another site.
Yeah, here
But I think this
uh,
has everything, yeah.
Yeah, here this without the diacritics.
Yeah, it will be hard to read.
8 offense. Are these all same Dharma Vrita Tyaga? What tune is this?
Dharma Vrata.
It's Dharma Vrata Tyaga Hutadi Sarva Supya Kriya Samyam Api Pramada.
Sounds like a prose, so I'm not sure about the tune.
Okay, we can read the translation.
Yeah,
Okay.
at least to remember all this translation.
Because we should remember always when it asks what is the third one. Because the Christians, they remember by memory their 10 commandments. So we should remember
Yeah.
like that.
I only remember the third and the fourth one.
Yes, Prabhu. Yeah, same. And also
I know some also, but I don't remember the exact number. Yeah.
This last one I remember always because it is about maintaining material attachments, even though coming to learn about these things. And it's mentioned at the end that it is also an offense to be inattentive while chanting. Then I always get the picture of me chanting with phone, and I'm thinking, no, this cannot be done.
Yes, I also fall short of it. When I used to join in the morning the japa session.
Yes, Prabhu.
Yeah, sometimes Yeah, I'm scrolling
I
Telegram or
don't
something
I don't
like
may,
that.
I don't maybe usually scroll so much, but I check it often. I look at it.
Yeah,
There's notification or something.
that's
Sorry,
why.
bro. I cannot pick it up.
Yeah, for the past of
Yeah, bro.
a couple of days, I've been practicing. I'm just open Srila Prabhupada's photos and play it as a slideshow. So,
Mm.
I don't touch my laptop anymore
Yes.
during the chanting.
Yeah. I need to maybe do that with phone also.
Yeah.
Yes, bro.
Okay, but let's read the first one. To blaspheme the devotees who have dedicated their lives for propagating the holy name of the Lord.
Okay. To consider the names of demigods like Lord Shiva, Lord Brahma to be equal to or independent of the name of the Lord Vishnu.
To disobey the orders of the spiritual master.
Scriptures in pursuance to the Vedic version.
5. To consider the glories of chanting Hare Krishna to be an imagination.
To give some interpretation to the holy name of the Lord.
7th one. To commit sinful activities on the strength of the holy name.
8. To consider the chanting of Hare Krishna as one of the auspicious ritualistic activities which are offered in the Vedas as fruitive activities, karma kanda.
To instruct
Number 9.
a faithless person about the glories of the holy name.
10th one. To not have complete faith in the chanting of the holy name and to maintain material attachments. Even after understanding so many instructions on this matter, it is also an offense to be inattentive while chanting. Every devotee who claims to be Vaishnava must guard against these offenses in order to quickly achieve the desired success. Krishna Prema. Haribol.
I remember in one of Tatvait Prabhu's logs, he quickly recited them, so he knows them by heart.
Yeah. I also remember because in all the classes that I hear from Philippines, for example, some certain classes they recite it in the like beginning or somewhere. So I remember always hearing it there.
Oh, no, Prabhu. In morning, morning
There's
Mangalarti, in that time they will say without seeing this.
Yes, Prabhu. Yeah.
All devotees will say 111.
Yes, Prabhu.
Repeatedly.
There's
And
one, I think. Oh, horrible. 1 second, I'd like to share. You can talk. I mean, I'd like to share one clip concerning this.
Yes, Prabhu.
येन तेन प्रकारेण मन कृष्ण निवेशयेत् चेतो दर्पणमार्जनं भवमहा दावाग्नि निर्वापण.
I usually, when I'm using phone, it's very convenient to just record the screen.
Yes, Prabhu.
I remember I used to do this to memorize this tune, Cheto Darpanamarjanam.
Yeah.
Yeah, concerning, yeah, I think this is the one.
Yeah, this 5
Wait,
is
please.
also hard because sometimes the glories are so high. So for
Become medicine.
person it's hard to understand.
Yes, I found this one. Krishna, is this so funny? Okay, Ice Cream TV. What is this? 10 offenses. Yeah, I highly recommend to all of you to watch these two-part videos by Tatvait Prabhu concerning 10 offenses. Yeah, 3 hours each, but it's worth it. So, 1 second.
can you share the?
Yes, Prabhu, I will share. Okay, I will share it right now in Zoom. So you can, I will share the first part. You can find the second one
Okay,
by
Prabhu.
yourself. Yeah, I'll just 1 second, I will find that. This is not what I wanted to show. 1 second, I will find the timestamp. Where is this? Oh yeah, it's probably from the second part, not the first one.
Oh, I need to also watch the Ekadashi video to the end. I have half watched it today.
Yeah, yesterday I watched 30 minutes of it, then I just went to bed because I was so tired. I don't know why.
Yes, Prabhu.
So in today morning I finished it. Yeah, it was really nice when that. I mean, not that way. I mean, Nima and Teperboo started watching these. What is the science behind this begetting children? I was like, wow.
Yeah.
You will be amazed.
Yeah, and this will be one nice short, I think, because he explained about this water system, how the Lord brings water from the ocean, and he was asking that can the scientist he said make a scientist do this arrangement, first evaporate water, then move the water to the mountains and make it rain down, and then collect all that water, dig some pipes, and that they cannot do system like this. That was really nicely explained.
Yeah. Yeah, I found Prabhu. We can actually watch the whole thing, and maybe it will take about 8 minutes.
Yes,
I don't know. Because there will be 26th one I wanted to show, but we can go through all this. You can play it, yeah.
Cause you to lament about how many bills you have to pay, and thus changing your prayers from, "Oh Lord, please engage me in your service," to, "Oh Lord, please add a few more zeros to the end of my bank balance."
You see, this is the types of chanting.
Somebody has made a
Yes, Prabhu.
hilarious list of 32 ways not to chant, how not to chant. Then second, I hate him japa. While chanting, meditating on who hurt you, how badly you were hurt, how much you hate that person, and what you will do to get back at him. By the end of 16 rounds, your hatred has increased tenfold and you have developed excellent plans and strategies to take revenge. And one may think that, oh, Krishna has helped me. He has given me the solutions how to get back at him.
This could happen with YouTube comments. One remembers a comment that was there, then planning what I will answer.
Yes, Prabhu. And actually, although it was funny, sometimes I realized, oh, I was chanting like that also.
Yes,
Yeah.
I am right japa. Meditating while chanting on how right you are and how wrong someone else is. And with every mantra, you become more convinced how right you are. Also known as pump your ego japa. Watering the weeds japa. So, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has said that the Bhaktilata Bij, the seed of devotional service, is gotten by the mercy of Guru and Krishna. And one has to water the seed. But when you are watering the seed and it becomes sprout, then there are weeds also come. What are the weeds? What is that? Pratishtha, Nama, Puja, Labha. What is that? Kutinati. So these things, that means the desire for fame, the desire for adoration, or kutinati, diplomacy, diplomatic behavior. That means behaving in one way here and behaving another way there, not the same behavior everywhere, duplicitous behavior. So many weeds are there. When one becomes devotee, all these weeds have to be carefully cut out. One must be alert and cut all the weeds, otherwise the weeds will overgrow the devotional creeper. So instead of watering the seed, we will water the weeds then. So watering the weeds japa, chanting so poorly that by the time you finish you feel disgusted, depressed and miserable. Gone are the days of chant and be happy, now it is chant and be miserable. No. Beat the clock japa. Number 5, beat the clock japa. You chant as fast as possible in an attempt to get those bothersome rounds over with.
Yeah, but this can actually happen with the current system of, we have you need to chant this many rounds before this clock is this much.
Yeah,
so this can happen.
That's fine. I'm very glad that Nima Prabhu changed the system because I feel a little bit wasn't happy when I couldn't chant all the 16 rounds before 6:30. So I
Yeah.
was like, oh no, I will get less points than, for example, others.
Yes, Prabhu.
So
I
yeah,
was also counting at one point like this that, oh, soon its clock is like this. I need to
yeah.
do it faster so I can get one more round before this.
So yeah, yeah. Brahma Muhur, and I also told Nimantya Prabhu, of course, he didn't read that comment, but the point is for me, and I believe for you also, because time zone is almost the same. This Gaudiya calendar shows me that Brahma Muhurta starts at 6:30, 6:45. So, but it doesn't mean that I have to wake up so late.
Yes, Prabhu.
So anyway, I wake up early.
Yeah.
Yeah. What to do? Yes, and I
Sometimes
used to be
trying to break
like this that Prabhu is explaining that, when this job will end and I can come back to my nonsense activity, something
Yes,
like
Prabhu. Yeah.
your previous record of 1 round in 3 minutes 59 seconds, which was formerly thought to be humanly impossible, until you proved it could be done if one is intensely motivated to get his chanting over with as soon as possible. It's a record breaking japa, you know. So this, you know, robot japa. You chant like a robot, chanting while totally disconnected from the mood of the mantra. You sometimes wish another devotee or a robot could chant your rounds for you. You know, while I do something else, you know, more productive. You know. 7. Firing blank mantras japa. Krishna's name is chanted, but your mind and heart are somewhere else, and so is he. Your mind and heart is somewhere else, and so is he. He is also somewhere, he is not there. Because our mind is not there in attention. So he is also somewhere else, he is also not with us. Krishna's name is chanted, but your mind and heart are somewhere else, and so is he. The sound Krishna comes out of your mouth, but because there is no consciousness,
This is like making an appointment. Oh, we meet this time tomorrow. This time you send the invitation, and then nobody's there. Just the appointment.
yes, Prabhu.
it is like firing blank mantras. You know what is blank round? And when you're shooting,
Hare Krishna Pranjal
it's a
Prabhu,
round, but
Dandat
there's no
Pranam,
bullet
Jai
in that.
Prabhupada.
It's a firing blank rounds. So it's a firing blank mantras. 8. Killing time japa. Chanting but thinking of things to entertain yourself with while you chant, so you won't be so bored just listening to the mantra. In this way, you kill time while chanting and thus make chanting 16 rounds quite tolerable by making it much less painful than usual. You see? Watching some TV or something. I think that is another one of the. And then creative japa. Using japa as a time for brainstorming, thus doing some creative thinking, generating new ideas and finding solutions to your problems. It is used.
Yeah, this is hard one because
Yes, this is
mine is so
about me
active.
also.
Because
Yeah.
it might also say that though I'm just thinking devotional services to do, but still that is also
Yeah, I remember, maybe you were there when Sundar Gopal Prabhu was giving a class on how to improve chanting Hare Krishna. It is called like that. So actually I was rewatched it, not the whole thing. So I remember somebody, maybe it was me, who asked him that, Prabhu, what should we, is it okay if we thinking of something while doing japa, but it is related to Krishna consciousness? And
yeah.
Sundar Gopal Prabhu strictly said, no, we should
Yeah.
be only focused on chanting.
Yes,
Yeah, it is, it may be good. At least you're thinking of Krishna activities, or maybe how you're gonna to preach or something like that.
Yeah.
But I liked it very much. So Sundar Gopal Prabhu was strict, like Srila Prabhupada. No, we should be focused only on the
Yeah.
holy name. So
Yeah, when
even
these come
such
to my
thoughts
mind-
we should get rid of.
Yes, Prabhu. Usually when these come to my mind, I try to push them away and think that if the idea is coming to my mind now, it will come later when I need it, if it's really an important idea.
Yeah.
So trying to
And
think.
sometimes I not prefer to, for example, I used to check YouTube comments before the job at least for 5 minutes, and then I see new replies from some nonsense fellows. And while I was chanting, I was trying to to come up with the answers. How am I going to interact with them?
Yeah.
What verses should I quote? Sometimes preaching is going on in my head, so
Yeah.
some arguing.
Yes, same.
So yeah,
Even some
that's why.
really old thing might come. You might start to think how you were preaching and what you should have said, and then you realize, oh, I'm not focused. It's so easy to lose this focus while chanting. There's so
Yes,
many things that can come.
that's why I'm trying to be as fresh as possible before the japa. Maximum what I can do is, I mean, I usually, when I joining japa session, I go to darshan group, I see the darshan and Srila Prabhupada's quote, and I share it. That's all. That's my maximum.
Yes.
And I'm not checking any other messages or maybe private messages. Otherwise, I will be distracted and I will be thinking of these things.
Yeah. I think this is the easiest offense to commit, this inattentiveness while chanting.
Yes.
Hare Krishna.
Useful to have a
Prabhu.
pen.
Yes, Prabhu.
Prabhu, can I? Prabhu, I have to leave now because I have to.
Yes,
pick up.
Prabhu.
Thank you so much, Prabhu, for your kind association. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Yeah.
See you tomorrow on Japa session. Very well.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you so much, Prabhu.
Jai Shri
Hare
Prabhupada.
Krishna. Srila Prabhupada.
Paper handy to write down your ideas. Although you may get very few rounds done and you won't get the nectar of the name, you have spent the past 2 hours in such a high degree of passion that you will definitely have a long list of good ideas. But is it really a good?
Yeah, sometimes because it's morning time and it's going and you start to get hungry, and of course you start to think that what I'm gonna cook next, and then the ideas come. You can cook like this.
And what else I did, I used to type in comments and answering all these in YouTube Studio while chanting, and sometimes, I mean, the whole chanting was similar. I mean, I was replying the comments. I mean, it's so annoying. I'm happy that I got rid of it.
Yes, Prabhu. Yeah, I need to also, because it often comes back, because sometimes I think that now it's easy, but then some new thing comes in the phone that I want to interact with. That
Yeah, because it is not something urgent that should be done right now. I mean, you can do this after.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And yeah, sometimes there's even messages from like seniors or something like this, and then I'm thinking always that I need to check this phone if there is something urgent that I'm not noticing. But yeah, I need to learn this, that I don't need to always be, that no one will, I'm not so important, that if I'm not there, just instantly something might go. Yeah, I need to
Yes.
like this.
Because
we
like
tend to
Nimai
think that I am so
yeah.
important, If they cannot catch me, then everything will go bad. This is false ego.
Yes, bro. And I remember Nimai Prabhu told that concerning, I remember somebody in Ishtagoshi asked him why, what can we do to get up early in the morning? So Prabhu said, you just turn on flight mode on your phone and
Yeah,
like that. I mean, it's not the end. I mean, it's not the end of the world if you reply. I mean, if you reply somebody later, maybe next day. I mean, it's not something important to ruin your spiritual life.
Yes, Prabhu. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Idea to ruin your japa to get some good ideas. And number 10, Novocaine japa. Novocaine means it's a dental anesthetic. It means when there is a dental procedure, they put this Novocaine. Then it's like a cocaine, but it's like derivative of something like that. It's an anesthetic. So when the the mouth becomes numb. So while chanting japa, the mouth becomes numb. Your heart is so numbed that you feel absolutely nothing when you chant. Novocaine japa. Driving japa. Chanting while distracted by the task of driving. I am very guilty of this. Sometimes accompanied by.
Yeah, I've seen this only in some vlogs. Yeah, sometimes Vrajakishore Prabhu, but I know they are doing most likely extra rounds or something like this. But I've seen that they chant and drive. But I thought that's kind of like safety method also.
Yes.
Cursing at people who cut you off. No, that is not there. That is the anti-Trinadapi Sunichena mantra. Of course, the reason you chant while driving is that you get up late. So, I did this a lot, driving japa, honestly. So, I have some mixed feelings about this because,
Yeah, I also had mixed feelings.
I mean, it's
Yeah,
not good.
yeah.
It's always good to chant your rounds. In fact, Prabhupada said like this: chanting in the temple is 1000 times more beneficial than chanting outside, you know. So, in the temple, just focusing on just chanting and concentrating on the holy name, that is to be very much cherished, and that is to be very much desired. One should always chant nicely, and not having any other distraction while chanting. Sometimes I feel driving is like just like walking, so it's just like and no other distraction sometimes I can hear, but still it is not ideal at all. One should just chant in the temple and just nicely hear the holy name and do nothing else. No japa japa. While holding your beads, you converse with another devotee, moving your beads as you talk. In this way, you sometimes finish a so-called round or two by the end of the conversation. Oh God, help us. 13. Prajalpa japa. You chant a few rounds and then speak a few words of prajalpa to your friend. You chant a few more mantras and then listen as they speak some prajalpa to you. Then you respond with some even more juicy gossip. This process often continues for the entire japa session.
Yeah, I can understand this could happen in association with when there is a lot of people that this could happen.
Yeah.
14. Call and response japa. You talk to someone and while listening to you they chant japa. Then they reply and while listening to them you chant japa. Reading japa. Reading and chanting at the same time. Note, this would not be a problem if you had two or more heads. Reading and chanting at the same time. Left hand japa. Chanting japa while doing something with your left hand. Cleaning, cooking, tinkering, organizing, washing your car, etc. This is very useful for developing left arm strength. But not good for our spiritual life. There is a nice verse by actually King Kulashekar. I'll try to take it out. This is in the 21st.
Now, like past 5 days, I have been hearing every day about King Kulashekar a lot. Somehow now the topic has been coming over and over again.
Very well. Yeah, I'm also want to, because the next book I'm gonna to read is Mukundamala Sutra, and unfortunately Russian book doesn't have diacritics, so I have to put it manually. So I've done maybe 40% of the book.
Yes, Prabhu. It was my last book also that I read. It was really
Yeah.
There, the Prabhupada especially points out the one verse where there is the lotus flower and the swan that he points out, and he gave like four different purports for that one verse, so they are listed at the end.
Twenty-first verse of the Mukundamala Stotra. आम्नायाभ्यसनान्यरण्यरुदितं वेदव्रतान्यन्वहम् मेदश्छेदफलानि पूर्तविधयः सर्वं हुतं भस्मनि तीर्थानामवगाहनानि च गज स्नानं विना यत्पदा द्वन्द्वाम्भोरुह संस्मृतिं विजयते देवः स नारायणः. All glories to Lord Narayana. Without remembrance of his lotus feet, recitation of scripture is merely crying in the wilderness. Regular observance of severe vows enjoined in the Vedas is no more than a way to lose weight. Medas cheda phalani purta vidhaya. If one does fasting and all kinds of, it's the best. It is just a matter of losing weight only, because there is no spiritual benefit from that. Material benefit, something is there. Just like he's saying, left arm strength can develop if you are, doing all this with left hand while japa. Execution of prescribed pious duties is like pouring oblations into ashes, and bathing at various holy sites is no better than an elephant's bath. So, without remembrance, without focusing on the Lord, on the holy name, if we do all these things, and then so it's a nice expression by King Kulashekar, one of the 12 alvars. Bubblegum japa, chanting in a way that sounds like you are chewing bubblegum while chanting Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Ram. What is that? Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Ram Ram. Not pronouncing properly, not hearing what you're chanting. Just bubblegum japa. Just call it. New mantra japa, chanting a new form of Hare Krishna Mahamantra, such as Hare Kitty Kitty, Hare Kitty Kitty, or Nish Nish Ram Ram Hari Hari, Nish Nish Ram Ram Hari Hari.
Does someone really do like this? Too funny.
Sometimes, and if we actually record our chanting and see, especially when inattentive chanting, it looks something else. It sounds like some weird mantra. Or entertainment japa, chanting while watching TV or a movie. While watching TV, while not chanting. But chanting during the commercials is also totally bogus. And Krishna conscious video is also included in TV japa. You see? Internet japa, a few mantras and a few emails, sometimes chanting and reading at the same time. Inevitably, the beads get put on the table and
Yes, we do internet japa, I think. That's
the right hand lands on the
Yeah.
keyboard. Window shopping japa, chanting while window shopping. This commonly
Yeah.
happens when making the attempt to
I've done this also. Oh, Krishna. Yeah, I've been searching some Kindle information, what kind of thing I will buy.
Yes.
Oh,
When I was absorbed in something that I want to buy, I also do the same thing.
yeah, usually when something like this comes to my mind, I just want to get it fast. I want, if for example with this Kindle thing, it came to my mind so strongly that I need to get this for reading, and instead, because if I don't buy it fast, then I'm gonna think about it for days and days. Is it worth it?
Yes, exactly.
Now I'm always thinking, just buy it fast, use it for service as much as you can, and don't think about it more than that.
Yes, bro.
knock out some rounds while in the shopping mall. Boredom japa, you are so bored while chanting that you feel like killing yourself. Relaxing japa, lying down or relaxing in a hammock while chanting, often accompanied by coconut water in your left hand, like in the Hawaii beach or something, or Mauritius. Slumber japa, taking advantage of japa to get a good nap. Another variety of slumber japa is trying to fight off sleep but continually failing. This is also known as dive bomb japa, due to the head constantly rising and falling, like diving.
Yeah, sometimes that can happen. That's annoying when that starts to happen. Then, yeah, especially
Yeah, but I usually walk when I chant,
Yeah.
so
when sitting down that starts to happen, one needs to get up and start to walk. Otherwise, he will continue. It's endless cycle. It will happen 20 times, 30 times. You will those are
the next one will be the most funny.
Bitter medicine japa. Your experience of the holy name is like a bitter medicine, and your face turns in disgust as you chant. So actually, we have seen this in ISKCON sometimes. They chant like this: Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare. The weird faces they make. I don't know why they do that. Like it's very painful to chant Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna.
Who was also saying this in some recent lecture? I don't know who it was.
No, I don't remember.
Was saying that it feels like he was saying about this Radhanath Swami, that it looks like he's biting the mantra or something. I don't remember.
Yeah, maybe Tatoit Prabhu, because he gave a few classes, but I missed them.
Yeah.
Hare Ram, Ram Ram. What is that? Why is it so painful? Is it so painful?
And I also
bitter?
saw this in some
Something bitter
footages.
was put in the mouth like that, So we should see how Prabhupada chanted, So we chant sane, like a sane man, like an insane man, Painful japa. Your mind is so out of control that it is painful to try to control it. Thus, the expression on your face while chanting appears similar to the expression of a person with a knife in their back or a person with severe constipation. This is often accompanied by banging your head with your hand, or in severe cases, banging your head against a wall.
Yes, I hope my mantras doesn't ever become painful, because now the most biggest problem is be focusing on something else, not that because when I can focus, then it's always like nice. Then one can focus on the rhythm, and when one can do that, then it becomes nice. But this would be horrible if it would be like this, that
Yes,
it's
Prabhupada.
painful.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna,
But I remember at beginning it wasn't painful, but it was hard to continue. I remember even 4 rounds felt like I was falling out of time or something, that I had to do something, check the phone, check time, or I remember I couldn't do even 4 rounds in the beginning. I was struggling with it.
I mean the thing that I said, Hare Krishna, all this also looks like some constipation or something. Painful japa. Shaking japa also.
Also, actually, doing many rounds without hearing Prabhupada is still hard, because I'm so used to it. When I hear the Prabhupada chanting, then I can chant. But otherwise, it's really hard to focus even one round.
Known as ants in your pants japa. You chant as if you were a toy monkey that was just wound up, or some ants in the pants. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Rama. Like this. Yeah. Radar japa. Looking around at anything and everything and everybody while chanting. Radar. Like audio japa. Chanting japa while listening to a lecture, kirtan, song, or the radio. This is especially challenging while listening to the radio, unless of course it is one of your favorite songs or some juicy news. Sightseeing japa. Walking or driving and chanting while doing some serious sightseeing.
Yeah, this I've done usually in the summers, but I'm not so much sightseeing, but still I'm seeing places at the same time when I'm walking. But they're not really sights, but it could be counted into this. But yeah, in summertime I always do the job outside in the morning, because then I don't feel tired at all, and then I can focus, because while walking I cannot take the phone out so much. So then I just go to some forest street or something like this and just walk there.
Yes.
Shopping japa. Nish nish ram ram hari hari. Nish nish ram ram hari hariing your way through the supermarket or mall. Apathy japa.
This next summer I will always walk to Ero Prabhu's house, and if he's not woken up for Mangal Arti, I will wake him up. I bang the door and shout, "Wake up, wake up."
Chanting with absolutely no desire or enthusiasm to chant. So they conclude by saying, please avoid the anarthas and do very careful chanting and hearing each and every word of the Mahamantra in a most humble mood and without offense. So we might be guilty of one or two or many of these offenses, this kind of chanting. So myself included, I'm not anybody, some big time devotee, not doing any inattentive chanting. So it is for me to learn also. So we have to take these things very seriously, although it is presented in a joking way. But these are not jokes, because these are the things that will keep us from going back to the Krishna. So this is very important. We should take all these things very seriously and take our chanting very seriously. And we have to, every initiation time there is an initiation ceremony. The 10 offenses are repeated, and Prabhupada did it like that also. So that is because, and every day we are chanting these 10 offenses. So these are to, these have to be internalized. These have to be lived. These principles are to live with. We have to understand and put this into practice. And if anything, if there is a problem somehow, we cannot control our mind, or mind is going racing here and there, that means maybe I have committed some offense. So in this way, always introspecting. Bhaktivinoda Thakur said, our chanting beads are like the thermometer. When you put the thermometer, you know whether you have a fever. So similarly, when we put our hand in the bead bag, how we are feeling, is it we are in the service of the holy name, or we are feeling like we are a big devotee, like I'm going to chant good rounds today. I'm going to like really do the best rounds. So in all this, even of course, even if it's a good desire to chant good rounds, but thinking that we have control over the holy name is illusory, because the holy name is non-different from Krishna. So it is not that okay, now I will chant good rounds.
Yeah.
Okay, now I will focus myself. I will today. You see, I will chant very good. It is not within our power like that to control the holy name. So we should beg the holy name. Let me be always attentive while I am chanting to you. Please give me your mercy. Please engage me in your service. So as a service to the holy name, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So always feeling incapable and begging the mercy of Vaishnavas.
Maybe that Madhav Prabhu will come to Finland. Like
Who is Madhav Prabhu?
that devotee who is at Pondicherry right now, that German devotee.
Mm.
Because he has to come out of India for visa reason, and he has to wait for 3 months for the visa. So he sent me a message that maybe like end of March he might come, or April or May.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, that would be interesting to see what happens. And he wanted to send some big donations for Pondicherry Temple. He asked for PayPal, and I just gave it. No.
And the spiritual master Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and always begging. I mean, as Prabhupada said, crying like a child crying for the mother. Actually, there's a very nice incident of Prabhupada. How Prabhupada is so Krishna conscious, even seemingly unrelated things he will connect to Krishna. That is a real Krishna conscious person. So what happened? Devotees, I mean, every morning Prabhupada would have a walk. So Prabhupada was walking along with his disciples. So they were walking by a lake, and in that lake there were a few ducks. So when they went to near the lake, so the ducks started to come towards the devotees in the water, and one of them started croaking, shouting loudly, and the devotees threw some prasadam to the duck. Then Prabhupada said, this is how we must call out for the Lord. Although the Lord He knows everything. He knows what danger we are in. He knows what helpless position we are in. He knows everything, the Lord knows. But when the devotee calls out to the Lord in a helpless condition, some complacent devotees may think, there's no need to call the Lord, because anyway He knows what is happening. No. But when the devotee in a helpless condition, he calls out to the Lord, then the Lord becomes touched by that, and He will immediately answer that prayer. So he pointed out to the duck. You see how the duck shouted the loudest among all of them, and then you gave him the prasadam first. So similarly, the Lord will reciprocate when we loudly call out to Him. So He will reciprocate. So if we don't ask for help, of course, Lord helps His devotee always, but He wants to see our devotion. The main thing is, how much are we remembering Him? How much intensely are we remembering Him? So that's what He wants from us. He puts all the conditions, all the situations for us, so that we become intensely, conscious of Krishna. That is called Krishna consciousness. Krishna consciousness means to be always conscious of Krishna. Not only while chanting, even other times, even our service. Every time we have to be conscious of Krishna. That is Krishna consciousness.
There's
So
one.
with this,
we can watch
we have
another one
concluded
clip.
the 10 offenses. I think
Basically,
there is one more encouraging.
It's about
the 10 of, these 32
pronunciation.
ways
Actually,
not to
I
chant
used to be
japa is
like that way
quite
Prabhu will be
demoralizing to many.
explaining. So that's why I use voice recorder to
Therefore,
correct
one
my
must chant the
chanting. And actually, I heard that some devotees chant like that in japa session. Of course, I don't know who is this, and even if I knew, I wouldn't mention out of etiquette. So anyway, it's a good advice that Prabhu gave, that we can use, for example, voice recorded and voice what I mean and hear what we're actually chanting, because sometimes we think that we're chanting good, but when I listened to those records, I was like, wow, what is this? So
Yeah. Yeah, sometimes one thing is
it's
that with this word Ram, sometimes people don't say the R properly.
yeah,
They say like an, nam.
yeah, very nice purport. I mean, yeah, this is where Srila Prabhupada is explaining this.
Yes, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Mahamantra according to the principles of the above verse, Trinadapi Sunichena Tarorapi Sahishnuna. One should note in this connection that chanting involves the activities of the upper and lower lips as well as the tongue. Chanting means upper and lower lips must move and the tongue. Not like this. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Our tongue and upper and lower lips. You see how Prabhupada has mentioned. Why did he say this? Why upper and lower lips? Why he has to mention like that? Because that means we have to chant it audibly, not in the mind, in the quietly. No, we have to chant it audibly, enough for us to hear. All three must be engaged in chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. The word Hare Krishna should be very distinctly pronounced and heard. Sometimes one mechanically produces a hissing sound instead of chanting with the proper pronunciation with the help of the lips and tongue. See, sometimes one mechanically produces a hissing sound instead of chanting with the proper pronunciation and with the help of the lips and tongue. You see? Some, what is that? Shish, 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 something like this, some hissing sound. So, it should be properly chanted with proper pronunciation. Chanting is very simple, but one must practice it seriously. And sometimes also devotees, they skip a few words. Some Hare Krishna will be missing, or Hare Krishna Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna Ram Ram Hare Hare.
At beginning, this Krishna word was kind of stuck, this.
Yeah, for me it was the tough word. Yeah. Yeah, sometimes I feel like I don't feel my tongue, and I mean I cannot pronounce properly.
Yeah,
So sometimes it happens.
Yeah, it felt
And
like
sometimes
tongue is
yeah.
tumbling or something. Like,
Yes, yeah.
And then I used to think that if I continue this, it will be more proper. And now it's weird to think now back that how it was so hard to pronounce word Krishna. It was really now it's weird to think.
I remember the toughest part for me was Krishna Krishna Hare Hare and then Hare Ram. So this Krishna Krishna Hare Hare. So I couldn't pronounce it properly and then switch to Hare Ram. So I was training this. I was practicing this for maybe a week. I remember I was focused this when I was chanting at work. So at one point I was like, wow, now it became smooth. So yeah, only practice, yeah. Yeah, and sometimes when I like now he gave example that we skip some words. Sometimes when I realize when I skip some words, so my chanting doesn't sound properly, I'm trying to focus on the holy name more deeply.
Yeah.
And correct myself as much as possible.
Sometimes
but sometimes it just doesn't go. I mean I cannot, and that's all.
Yeah, sometimes for me it feels like I moved a bead too fast. Sometimes I feel like I moved the bead when I started saying Hare Rama, and then I'm thinking, did I just move the bead 2 times on one mantra? But always when this happens, I chant one extra. I chant like 2 mantras on one beat to like counter it. If I made a mistake, then I continue.
Yeah, sometimes it happens.
Now I'm trying sweet potato.
Ribo.
Yeah, I usually make sweet potatoes because I'm sure that it is vegetable and it is good by itself because it doesn't need anything. It just needs some salt and pepper, and if you fry it in ghee, it becomes really nice. So I always just do
Yeah, I also usually do some potato on Ekadashi, and
Yeah.
like today, this tomato and paneer.
Yeah, it's nice that in Ekadashi we can cook something really simple, and because normally if I cook something only potato, for example, I would think that, oh, why am I offering just something like some too simple thing that I could at least make. But in Ekadashi, it's one can just offer fruit and then the potato and sweet potato, and then it's enough. So there's so much
Yeah,
time.
and I really liked the quote you shared today, because I remember when I was not trying, I mean, I actually did a few Nirjal fasting
Yes, bro.
last year, but I remember how weak I was. So and I remember Keshav Prabhu's words that if you feel weak, you better to take some prasadam, because the
Yeah.
service must be done, not that we fasting for the sake of fasting.
Yes, bro.
So it's better to take some prasadam and be energetic and do the service instead of fasting as
Yeah.
hard as you can.
Yeah, and it's nice that it has made so like that you can chant on one Ekadashi Nirjal, and it gives all the other Nirjal Ekadashi, so one doesn't even
Yeah.
miss out in that way.
Yeah, but at least I wanted to experience how it like. So
Yes, Prabhu.
at least I know that for now I'm not on that platform to to
Yes.
do Nirjal every Ekadashi.
Yeah, I cannot also. I could
Yeah.
do it, but then I cannot do much, I would
Yeah, I can do this, but then I will be practically useless.
yeah. Just waiting when it's over, when this
Yes,
is
yes. And I realized only when I was doing Nirjal, I remember when I was at work, of course, I didn't sleep, and I was scrolling new recipes.
Yeah, bro.
So it
Yeah,
never comes to my mind when I'm not hungry, but when I'm hungry, yeah, I'm looking for some new recipes.
yes, Prabhu.
Yeah.
Today also on Instagram some cooking videos came and I straight closed it. I was thinking today I don't want to think about food.
Ram Ram Ram, Ram Ram Ram. What are you chanting? There's no words not properly pronounced. Words missing. Sometimes I also saw somebody say, Krishna Shri Ram Ram Ram, Krishna Shri Ram Ram Ram, Krishna Shri Ram Ram Ram, Krishna Shri Ram Ram. What is that? Wanted to finish his round so quickly, and also the timing of rounds. Prabhupada said a good healthy round will be between 5 to 7 minutes long.
Yeah.
If it is too
I don't
fast,
know how to chant in 5 minutes. My personal record was 16. I mean 6 minutes in the beginning.
Yeah, same.
I mean I used to because I used to this beat the clock japa.
Yeah.
So I was practicing this in the very beginning. So in my personal record, I believe 5 minutes and maybe 50 seconds.
Yes,
I
Prabhu.
mean basically 6 minutes.
Yeah,
So
same. I did
but
also
now,
the same thing like first
yeah,
month.
yeah,
But now
yes,
I
yes,
haven't took
Pranjal.
any time but sometimes I have just tried to chant like fast and then look at the clock but I haven't taken time in long time. But yeah, but what I've noticed is that if one does like in a fast way, but in a focusing way and hearing every word, the fastest is like 6 minutes. It's really, if one does faster than 6, then there is something wrong because it's
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, I believe
yeah.
he will tell the same thing, that if you chant, I mean, faster than 6 minutes, something is wrong for
Yeah.
sure.
Usually 7 is like normal if one is not in a hurry. That's like
Yeah, 7 and 7:30 for me is like okay.
yeah.
if it is 4 minutes,
And when sometimes I notice that now it's starting to go too fast, then I just stop it. Like the rhythm, I stop it completely and I go to the like as slow as I can, and then I let it build up again. But
Yeah,
like that.
anything less than 5 minutes, actually 5 minutes itself is very fast. So anything less than 5 minutes is considered something is seriously wrong there. Something is wrong. Some words are skipped, something like that. So we should be conscious of that. We cannot skip words during chanting the Mahamantra. Sometimes you don't realize. You say, no, I'm chanting okay, I'm chanting nicely only. You don't even realize. That's why it is said you can put your phone, record your chanting. And of course, because the recording was on, you will be more careful. But let it run for a while. And let you go one round, 2 rounds, 3 rounds. Then you hear. Then you stop the recording. Because after some time you will forget that. Because your mind wanders again. Then you check back how it sounds. Does it sound like the Hare Krishna Mahamantra or some new mantra? You know,
New
invented
mantra.
my own mantra. So this is very important for
And at
devotees
one
to.
point, I was, because in one lecture, Tadlai Prabhu was explaining that this I shouldn't be there. It should be straight Krishna. Like there shouldn't be.
Yeah, if we want to pronounce Sanskrit properly, as it should be, that yes,
Yeah.
Krishna.
At
Yeah,
one
something
point, I
like
was
that.
focusing on that like a week a lot. I was here listening, and then other one is the, because when one says fast Hare Ram, Ram Ram, sometimes I feel like there is one skipped or something when it becomes too fast.
Mm.
And the Ram word is
Ram, Ram, Ram.
and then sometimes I'm trying to think that is there a difference when one says Hare Ram or Hare Rama? Then I'm thinking that is it the same or does it sound the same
At least it shouldn't be Ramo. I mean, Ramo, it shouldn't be done. I remember, I mean, not Sundar Gop, I mean, Srila Prabhupada said, "Who is this Ramo?"
Yeah.
Because at one point, I believe it was Vishnujana Swami, he was who doing this Sankirtana and chanting Ramo, and he corrected him. So I believe it was him. Who is this Ramo? I mean, it's a very famous maybe article or maybe conversation. You just type "who is Ramo" and you will find this conversation. So anyway, yeah.
I've done like
Ram,
experimenting with this. I've tried to chant Hare Ram, Ram Ram, only with Ram. But I've noticed that when I start the new word Ram, it always automatically goes to A, because from R to going to A, from A going to R, I mean from M. When we say R-I-M, then R again, usually there is automatically A between there.
Hare Ram, Ram.
Yeah, sometimes, yeah, when I was only learning how to pronounce properly, when I was watching ISKM classes, I just record some clips where Tatvait Prabhu chants, for example, and I was trying to follow, shadowing his chanting.
Lock it down and really get it right. So we cannot chant just to look at a boy. And devotees actually, because they're so used to it, they don't realize all these mistakes. They think they're okay. It's not okay. Anything less than 5 minutes is confirmed something is wrong with that chanting. Confirmed. It's legislated. Something is seriously wrong with that chanting. And something more than 7 minutes, 8 minutes means Prabhupada said it's distracted. One is getting distracted by this and that. That's why the chanting is slow. So we have to chant with concentration and just focus
My
on
very
chanting
first
and pronounce
rounds
properly.
were
And all the words must be
12
distinctly pronounced, Prabhupada.
Yes, Prabhu. Yeah.
Therefore, the author of Sri
Because
Chaitanya Charitamrita,
for me,
Krishnadas
even to
Kaviraj Goswami,
memorize the
advises
Hare
everyone to
Krishna
keep this
mantra
verse
was
always strung
hard.
about his neck. So this Trinadapi Sunichena.
I was thinking like this also when instructing to others. Mataji was asking, for example, that I was telling him that when you chant, usually one round is like 6 minutes, that it is fast. Then she tried first time, and then like 15 or like 13 minutes went. Then she was like, "No, you said it's 6 minutes. Now it's 12 minutes gone, and I'm not still finished." Then, then I realized that it's not 6 for everyone at the beginning.
Yeah.
The second not be done when you read it once. Oh, Prabhu, I have read all Prabhupada's books.
What is this?
The second, you will not be done when you read it once. Oh, Prabhu, I have read all Prabhupada's books. No, it's not done at all. We haven't even skimmed the surface properly. We are reading one thing and then 10 days back what we read, we completely forgot. maybe 3 days back what we read completely forgot. So reading once doesn't do any good. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was reading the pastimes of Prahlad Maharaj, Dhruva Maharaj hundreds of times.
Yeah. Just going through some clips.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it's annoying when I fry some things and the oil splatters to the other, I don't know what's the word, but the other stove tops. And then they become like, there's some oil. And when I try to wipe it off, it's impossible to get off because it's oil.
Yeah.
I like always everything to look like really spotless and that everything is like organized. That has been always, I've liked that there is clean. If there's some weird things that something is not lined or so, then I get like distracted why this is not like proper.
And if some devotees correct us, no, this is not correct, you should chant properly. You should not become angry with the devotee. You should introspect, oh, if I am chanting all the time wrong mantra, then where I will get perfection in my spiritual life? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave one mantra and I am chanting another mantra. So I have to